For years, fans have speculated, analyzed, and hoped, but nothing could have prepared them for the confession that CanYaman finally made. Sitting in a dimly lit studio, his eyes carried a weight that words could barely hold. The interviewer asked a simple question: was Demet really that important to you? And for the first time, Can didn't hide behind his trademark smile. He took a deep breath, his voice trembling slightly, and said the words that silenced the entire room: Demet Özdemir was my weakness all along. Those words weren't rehearsed. They came from somewhere deep, from a place he had kept locked for years. The air seemed to freeze. The audience watching live gasped, social media exploded within seconds. Hashtags trended worldwide, hashtag CanYaman confession, hashtag Demet and Can, hashtag unfinished love. It wasn't just another celebrity interview, it was a moment that tore open old wounds and reminded everyone of what once was between them. The chemistry they shared on screen had always felt too real, too alive, and now the truth was out, it was real. Ken admitted that during the filming of Urkency Kuss, he lost the boundary between fiction and reality. I kept telling myself it was just acting, he said softly, but the more we worked together, the harder it became to separate my character from my feelings. He described how every glance, every improvised line, every quiet moment between takes seemed to blur the line between love written in a script and love written by fate. Demet, according to him, wasn't just a co-star. She was the reason he looked forward to every day on set. When she smiled, the whole place changed, he confessed, his voice cracking. Even if I was exhausted, angry, or lost, her presence grounded me. She made me want to be better. After that, the interviewer didn't say much, maybe she didn't need to. Can's silence said more than any sentence could. It was the silence of a man still haunted by something that never truly ended. Behind the calm tone, there was longing, regret, and an emotion too raw to fake. And for millions watching, it was confirmation, the story of Can and Demet was never just fiction. That night, the clip of his confession was replayed across the world, from Italy to Turkey, from fan pages to mainstream media. Everyone had one question on their minds: if she was his weakness, why did he let her go? When the camera stopped rolling and the lights faded, the world thought they simply moved on. But behind the scenes, something inside Can had begun to collapse. I thought walking away would protect both of us, he admitted. I didn't want my feelings to ruin what we had built, our careers, our peace, our image. Yet in trying to protect her, he ended up losing her. Can described how fame became both a blessing and a curse. Every photo, every whisper, every headline about them added more pressure. What began as a beautiful connection soon turned into a storm of speculation. People made it impossible for us to breathe, he said. They turned something pure into something controversial. He remembered the nights when paparazzi followed them everywhere, when every look or smile was twisted into a rumor. She was strong, stronger than me in many ways, he confessed. But even strength has limits. I saw her eyes one night, tired, scared, done. And I knew I had to step back. He spoke about that final night, the one fans had always guessed about but never truly knew. It wasn't a fight, he explained. It was silence. The kind of silence that breaks you because you realize it's over, even if no one says it. They were in the same room, yet miles apart. The laughter that once came so easily had disappeared. I remember she looked at me, and I couldn't say a word, he whispered. That was the moment I lost her. After that, Can threw himself into his work. He accepted roles abroad, distanced himself from Istanbul, and built a wall of projects around his heart. People said I changed, he continued. They were right. But they didn't understand why. Every interview, every red carpet smile, it was all part of the mask he wore to hide the emptiness Demet left behind. He admitted that he tried to erase every reminder of her, unfollowing her on social media, avoiding mutual friends, and even rejecting offers that could have brought them together again on screen. I thought time would heal it, he said, shaking his head. But time doesn't erase something that was never fake. Then, almost as if talking to her directly, Ken looked into the camera and said, "If you ever see this, know that walking away wasn't strength. It was fear." His voice cracked on the last word, and the pain in his eyes said the rest. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was guilt, the kind that lingers long after the cameras stop. The world saw a competent actor, but that night, they saw the truth, a man still carrying the ghost of a love he never stopped feeling. The moment Ken's confession aired, the internet caught fire. Within minutes, millions tagged Demet Özdemir, flooding her posts with one question: "Did you hear what he said?" But Demet remained silent. No statement, no comment, just a single photo she posted hours later. A quiet sunset, her silhouette by the sea, captioned with only 3 words, "Some truths hurt." That post said everything without saying a word. Fans knew, she had seen it. She had felt it. And that tiny caption carried the weight of years of unspoken emotions. Some truths hurt. Was it forgiveness? Was it closure? Or was it another wound opening again after years of trying to heal? Those close to her revealed that Demet had been in shock. She didn't expect him to ever say it publicly, a source said. They had made a silent agreement to protect each other's names, no matter what happened. And yet, now, Ken had broken that silence. But instead of anger, Demet reportedly felt something else. Relief. She once told me, her friend shared, that the worst pain isn't losing someone, it's pretending you never loved them. Behind her calm social media presence, there was a storm brewing. For years, she had carried her memories of Ken like hidden scars. The way he used to make her laugh between takes, the way his eyes softened when the director yelled cut, the way he once whispered, "Don't forget me when this is over." Those memories had never left her. She had buried them under layers of career success, new roles, and carefully built composure. But that one interview cracked it all open again. People close to Demet noticed a change in her behavior after that night. She stopped answering calls for a while, stayed offline, and avoided public events. A few days later, however, she posted a short story clip, a quiet moment, her walking through an empty street in Istanbul. The background song was a heartbreaking ballad with lyrics that spoke of unfinished love and second chances. The fans knew instantly, it was for him. Meanwhile, Can, miles away, was reportedly watching. His friend said he stayed silent, didn't repost or comment. He saw it, a source close to him revealed, and he just whispered, "She still feels it." For the world, it became a story of 2 people who had everything, fame, beauty, success, yet couldn't hold on to the one thing that mattered most, each other. And as the internet debated, analyzed, and speculated, only Can and Demet knew the real story, a love too deep for headlines, too painful to forget, and too real to ever fully end. Before the pain, before the distance, there was magic. It all started on a warm spring morning during the first days of filming Erkenci Kuss. The set buzzed with nervous energy, everyone was excited, but no one more than Demet. She was about to meet her new co-star, a man whose name was already whispered with admiration, CanYaman. She remembered the exact moment he walked in. The room seemed to shift, conversations paused, lights felt brighter. He wasn't just handsome, he carried a quiet confidence, the kind that demanded attention without trying. When their eyes met for the first time, something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't attraction yet, it was recognition. As if they had known each other in another life. During the first few scenes, they were professional, cautious. But by the end of the first week, something began to change. It was strange, Demet once told a close friend. Every time I looked at him, I forgot the camera was there. Ken would improvise lines that made her laugh for real, not as part of the script. Their energy became effortless, natural, so much that even the director would sometimes just let the camera roll, capturing moments that weren't written. One evening, during a late shoot, they filmed a scene under the rain. It was cold, the night dragged on, and everyone was exhausted. Between takes, Demet stood shivering, wrapped in a blanket. Without a word, Ken walked over and placed his jacket over her shoulders. "You'll get sick," he said softly. That small gesture, simple and unplanned, stayed with her forever. It wasn't acting anymore, she admitted later. It was real. From that night on, their connection deepened. They shared inside jokes, exchanged long glances, and finished each other's sentences. The crew began to notice too. "You two have something rare," one of the cameramen said once. They laughed it off, but both knew it was true. Demet started to see sides of Ken that no one else did, his quiet moments of doubt, his soft heart hidden behind the strong, public image. And Ken saw in Demet something he hadn't seen in a long time: sincerity. "She made me believe in goodness again," he once confessed privately. As months passed, their bond became undeniable. Even when they weren't filming, they found reasons to stay longer on set, a coffee here, a late rehearsal there. But as their closeness grew, so did the attention. Rumors started to swirl. Yet for a while, they didn't care. For those few months, it was just them against the world. And in those moments, under the studio lights, in shared laughter, in stolen glances, something pure was born. Something that would later haunt them both. At the height of their connection, everything felt unstoppable. The world watched as their on-screen romance bloomed, unaware that behind those smiles and rehearsed kisses, a real love story was unfolding. "There were moments," Ken later admitted, "when I forgot the cameras were even there. Every touch, every look, it was all her." They began to spend more time together even off-set. Late-night conversations in quiet corners of Istanbul cafes, long walks after filming ended, and the kind of laughter that made time disappear. Demet once told a friend, "He had this way of looking at me, like I was the only person in the room." She had fallen, and so had he. But love, especially one lived under the spotlight, is fragile. As their chemistry became the talk of every tabloid, producers, managers, and publicists began to interfere. "They told us to keep our distance," Ken confessed. "They said it would ruin the mystery of the show." Yet the damage came not from closeness, but from the distance that followed. It started with small misunderstandings. Missed calls, cancelled dinners, subtle changes in tone. Demet began to feel him slipping away, replaced by the pressure of fame and expectation. Ken, overwhelmed by sudden international success, started traveling, taking endorsement deals, chasing new horizons. "I thought if I worked harder, I could silence the noise," he said. But all I did was silence her. The final straw came one evening after a long shoot. They sat across from each other in silence, two people who had once shared everything but now couldn't find the words. Demet looked at him and quietly said, "You're here, but you're already gone." That line stayed with him, it still does. He didn't answer, he couldn't. Sometimes silence is louder than goodbye. After that, they drifted apart. Projects ended. New beginnings started, separately. Demet focused on her career, hiding her heartbreak behind bright smiles and flawless performances. Ken left the country soon after, building a new life, but never escaping the memories. "Every city I go to," he said in the interview, "I look for her face in the crowd. It's a habit I can't break." Years passed. Rumors came and went. They both changed, matured, hardened, learned to survive the chaos of fame. But the bond between them never completely faded. Whenever they spoke about love in interviews, fans always noticed the same thing: their eyes softened at the mention of each other. And then came that fateful confession. Sitting in that studio, Ken finally let the truth slip through the cracks of his guarded heart. "Demet Özdemir was my weakness all along," he said. The world called it breaking news, but to him, it was something else: it was closure. After the confession aired, people expected drama, denial, chaos. Instead, Demet posted a final story, a black background with a single white heart emoji. No words, no explanation. But for those who understood, it was enough. It was peace. That night, fans around the world whispered the same thought: maybe their story was never meant to end in heartbreak. Maybe it was meant to remind everyone that some connections don't fade, they simply transform. As the credits rolled on their shared history, Ken looked up at the sky in his new home in Rome and smiled faintly. "If I ever see her again," he said softly, I won't walk away this time. And somewhere, miles away, Demet watched the same interview replayed on her phone. For a brief second, she smiled too, not out of pain, but memory. Because sometimes love doesn't need a happy ending to be unforgettable. It just needs to be real.